Hi everyone, thank you for joining me on my channel again. I did promise I would come back to you when I finished off this little botanical journal, so that's what I'm here to do today. Apologies, I did promise that I would try and finish off a second one and show that today as well. Unfortunately, life got in the way over the weekend and I didn't get the second one finished, but hopefully that will be finished off later on in the week, and I'll do a video of that and list that one in my Etsy shop. Before I do a quick flip through of this little one, can I say a shout out and a massive thank you to Anne in Norfolk, Suzanne in America and Andrea in Australia. Those three lovely ladies bought the last three mini tri-fold journals that I showed in my previous video. But more importantly, what I'd like to do is thank each and every one of them for the lovely messages that they sent me. I really was very touched and moved by your kind and generous words, ladies, and each of those messages meant a lot to me, so thank you so much, and I'm sending much love and every happiness from me here in the UK, so thank you so much. Okay, on with the journal flip. I'm filling up here. I'm desperately trying not to. Okay, on with the journal flip. I was hunting around last night for some sari silk because the sari silk that I had planned to use on this little journal was white and it was just not right with this vintage collaging, so I wanted something that was off-white, but I didn't want to tea stain the white sari silk that I had. So I came up with this idea, probably not new and or original for most of you, but I thought I would share it just in case somebody else was in the same predicament as me. What I did was I bought a while ago these large sari silk roses off the internet. I didn't read the listing properly and I thought I was getting the little miniature ones that you can get, and this is what came through the post. So they've been in my stash a while because they're not something I would use very often, but I came up with the idea last night of unpicking the stitching on the back and ironing the sari silk, and it gave me this lovely off-white sari silk that I've used on this little journal. So I unpicked roughly about 6 or 7 of these roses and it gave me masses of sari silk, enough to do the journal and also the tags, and with probably, oh crikey, a metre, maybe 2 metres that I've rolled onto a card. There is a bit of a knack to unpicking the roses, but once I got to grips with that, I was well away. So I sat there last night with my quick unpick, watching Catherine the Great, and I had a lovely time getting some sari silk for this journal. So going inside, I've left the sari silk as a continuous long length because I know not everybody's a fan of sari silk closures, so it's linked through or looped through an eyelet, same as on the other ones, other tri-fold journals, so easy enough to just pull out if you want to change the closure for elastic or something like that. Front cover, same as before, vintage collage or collaging with vintage papers, stitched around the edges. Going inside, I've put a specimen tag inside. There's an eyelet here and it's attached by a cordless safety pin, so you can easily take that off if you don't like it or it gets in the way, but I found it sits quite nicely there. It's a fern leaf from my garden, stitched round, trapped between some acetate, stitched round with some remnant rubs on. Okay, opening her up. 3 pockets, one at the back and one on each side here. Tag in the inside pocket. And stitched tea stained paper on the back. Here I've put a little fabric cluster, some linen lace, vintage button, some eyelash trim, lace stitch down the side. Another tag in this pocket, sorry, off frame there. There we go. Love the colour of that peony. Absolutely love it. Peony's my favourite flower. There's a flip out there. Pocket here with a journaling card and a little bit of lace. This is some parchment on the back. This is piano roll paper, a flip out. This envelope I've lined with book pages, botanical book pages, and a journaling card, inked and stitched as usual. Parchment on the back here on this one, and some botanical literature there. A little bit of collaging, that's one of the clog receipts. Another tag, a little bit of lace and some seed beads on a cornless safety pin. On the back I've used an old computer card. These are vintage computer punch cards. Here is a little tuck spot with a couple of flashcards. At the top here there is a little envelope. Sorry, it's a little Tim Holtz paper clip. I flip the envelope over. Ooh, got some glue on my hands there, sorry. There you go. And then inside the envelope is a tiny piece of botanical book page. If I can open her up. There we go. Just for a little bit of interest. It just tucks in that. Over the page, Chinese book page, a little bit of collaging here. Range of vellum with a pocket, side pocket, a little bit of lace on this ledger paper, lace and washi and stitching. A vintage button there, collaging at the bottom, stitching around this observer book page. Some grid paper. Pocket here with, there we go, a little tag, backed with some botanical book page, another flash card. This is a fabric lace, a little bit of collaging, paper collaging there. Tuck spot here with using a vintage bus ticket, and there's a journaling card there, backed with some botanical book page. Photo paper, protective paper, botanical page. Vintage stamp with some lace, faux Denison labels. Glassine pocket that's stitched to the page with a vintage cigarette card inside, botanical themed, and some lace at the bottom. Ready Reckoner page with some painter's masking paper on that. Tuck spot here with botanical book page tag, and another of the vintage cigarette cards and a vintage stamp. And then these are some vintage tickets that I've just popped in there, which I thought might be quite nice to have. Here, this is the centre of the signature, as you can see. Two pockets. What I've done is I've made just some very, very simple pouches out of these botanical book pages. If I turn them over, they're not stitched, but they are inked. And inside each one I've put a sheet of that French vintage ledger paper that I mentioned in a previous video. And as you can see, it's huge, so I can't get it all in frame. I think it was 13 inches in height by 10 inches wide, but it's gorgeous, got a lovely feel to it. I don't know if if I can get that in frame for you, you can see some of the information on the top. So I folded these up like so, tuck the little number in to protect it, and I've popped a sheet in each of these little pouches for you to use as you like. Oops, doesn't want to go in. More haste, less speed. I'm trying not to take too long going through these videos because they're all fairly much the same format, but if I'm hurrying too much, please give me a shout out and let me know. If I'm not going quick, and if I'm going too quick, let me know. If I'm going too slow, let me know, and I'll see if I can find a happy medium. I just didn't want to bore you, that was all. Okay, so we have another tag in this pocket and 2 homemade playing cards. We have a piece of Ranger vellum, and then behind tea stained paper, and then it goes through to the Ready Reckoner page behind, so you can have a little look. I think they're quite interesting, those Ready Reckoner pages. Then this is a little floating pocket that I made, and in the back there's a little piece of ephemera from an old letter. This is from a regimental letter about the music that they use for parades, etc. So it was quite interesting, that. Botanical page, protective page, and then this is the Observer, I don't know what these are called really, over the page journaling spots. I just flip them over the edge of the page like that, and they just sit quite comfortably. Stitched around the edge and lined with tea stain paper. Grid paper here with some collaging, 2 vintage stamps, some stamping, and I've stitched down the centre of the stamp for a bit of interest. Die cut with stamping, stitching across the corner there, a little bit of collaging in each of the corners there, sticker at the bottom, more vellum page. This is one of my collage homemade glassine pockets or envelopes, and you can see there's a tea card, not a tea card, a flash card behind. At the edge of this page I've put some sari silk and some lace which I've stitched down, and a couple of sheets of very pale pastel green paper, and this is one of the stamps, rubber stamps from Mackie Stamps that Tracy Fox recommends, and actually I've got quite a few of the Mackie stamps, and the quality of their stamps is amazing. The images come out beautifully, so they've obviously been well made and well cut. This is a little flip up with some very delicate paper, and you can see the rusting round the holes where there were some staples holding the pad together. So just hold that up. So I'm picking up some shadow here. I'm recording in my study and there's a light right ahead, so it kind of causes a shadow where my camera is pointing down. Sorry, I can't get my words out. This is another one of those little flips that I quite like making. Really simple. So it opens up for a journaling spot, and I've stitched it, not stitched it, glued it to the page, a little bit of lace there. Another journaling spot there with a lace flip here, some seed beads on a cordless safety pin, and I've just put in some of that lovely sari silk because it's so delicate and it seemed to lend itself with what was going on this page. piano roll paper, tea stain paper, music paper, more tea stain paper. This is botanical edged flip with a tag. Here just a little bit of stitching and collaging and a press stud, and you'll see why I press stud, because I've made a little flower that just sits on the edge of the page there, which if you don't like it there, then all you need to do is open up the press stud and take it off. Okay. And a little bit of collaging there, lace edging there. This is the back page. Here we have a gorgeous tag. I love this colour, the vibrancy of that yellow. Tea stain paper on the back. This is some printed eco paper. This is a little envelope I've made. And I've put on the edge of my string, I don't know if you can see that, a tiny little flower shaped embellishment, and then going inside there is a double sheet of botanical book page. Lots of images there that you can either chop up and use, or leave it inside the envelope as you will. And then that just wraps round. And then here, one final tag. And that goes in the back pocket there. So that's the little journal. I hope you like her. And I am just about to list her in my Etsy shop, so she will be available from later on this afternoon. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you liked her. I'm quite pleased with how this little one turned out. Mind you, I'm soft. I like them all really. I get attached to them as I'm working on them. But I have to say I do like this little one. I like this soft play between the Sari silk and the vintage ephemera papers on the front. But there she is. I hope you like her, and as I say, I will be listing her in my Etsy shop later on today. Thank you so much everybody. Take care and enjoy what's left of your weekend. Bye for now.